So I'm rolling, wanting to make it the same thickness. And so there I have two arms. One's a little skinnier than the other. That's okay. So these are going to come around from the back to the front. So here's where my front is going to be. And I want the toothbrushes to be held on the side. So the arm's going to start at the back and come around to the front. Yeah, it's not long enough to be one. So I'm going to turn this around to the back, kind of line this up where I want it to be. So I'm going to attach his arm way over here on the side. So I will scratch it with my fork, scratch there. Not right at the top, but a little bit down. And this end, I'm just going to flatten it a little bit and rough that up. Add a little water and attach that. Press it on pretty snug and smooth it out to make it part of the body. And then it's going to come around. So this is how it's going to hold the toothbrush. So I don't want it too snug because this will shrink a little bit, don't forget. So I want to have a nice big loop so there's plenty of space there. If you have an old toothbrush around, you can use it, or anything like a pen or a pencil you can use to get in there to imagine what it will look like. And then this part here, pinch it off where it's going to attach. So that's going to be basically his hand coming around the front. So again, I will score this and score this. Add a little water. And do the same. Now I do want something at the bottom for the toothbrush to land on at the bottom. So I'm going to give him a foot right underneath here where this would also attach. And I don't want this to be too tiny either. But I do want it to be very well secured. So I don't want it to be a ball because this won't land on a ball. So I want it to be fairly flat. And my clay's getting a little dry, so I'll just get my fingers wet and smooth it over and make it right underneath there. And so it's fairly round. And I'm going to, part that's going to touch the body, I'm going to flatten that part a little bit. So it's still very rounded here, but a little flat. You can do it with your finger, you can tap it on the table. And then I'm going to take my little finger and press this part in so that the handle has something to hold it secure. So it's kind of got a little indentation there. Hold that up so you can see a little better. So something like that. You can make yours a little different. But if it's just rounded on top, the toothbrush will just fall off of it. And so I'll line this up where it'll land so it'll sit like that. And if you want, before you scratch, you can kind of mark where it's going to be. So there's my mark. I'm going to scratch underneath there and then scratch the flat part of the foot. And attach it. And you may even want to smooth out the bottom here a little bit across that bottom seam. That's just gives it a little bit more security. You don't want this hanging below the bottom though. It's going to sit like that. Okay, so there's one arm and one foot. It'll sit like that. If you want to give them some toes or something, you could do that. But you can also do that when we glaze it. And then you'll go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to move on to the next parts. So then you can give them some facial features, whatever you like. I'm going to give my guy 2 big eyes. You could give him 3 eyes or 1 big eye, whichever you like. I'm going to do 2. So again, I'm going to start with 1 piece of clay and cut this in half. And there we go. Squish that down. I don't want these to be too big and heavy. You don't want anything that's gonna be so heavy it makes your monster fall over. So I'll try that on for size. It'll stick there momentarily. When you do yours, you should go ahead and do both arms and feet first so that you have a better sense of where all the body parts will be. Mine will, you know, be coming over to here. So that looks pretty good. So before I stick them, I can kind of line them up, see if they're about the same size. And there they are. And then I will score them. A little bit of water and press them on. And you can leave them like that and paint the pupils on later. If you want, you can use your wooden stick to draw them on or create an indentation. Or you could even take some more clay and press it in the center for his pupils. Just remember that everything you join, you need to rough up the surface of both pieces and add a little bit of water and press it on. A little bit of pressure just to make it stick. So here we are so far. And you can give him a nose, you can give him a mouth, you can give him some teeth. I think I'll give my guy, I'll show you how to do. If you want to do some teeth, instead of doing a whole bunch of individual teeth, if you make a long piece and you can roll it, make sure it's bigger than the mouth you want to give it. And then I'm going to cut it flat on the bottom. And let's see, make it about that big. So that's just some guidelines. And cut that off. And then I will cut out some teeth. So there's some big square teeth. If you'd prefer, you could make some jagged teeth. Or try on a few things and see what you like better. If you want to give him some jagged teeth, so there are his square teeth. Looks like he's missing some teeth. Here are some jagged teeth. You can put those on, and if you smooth that out, score it and smooth it, and then you can add the clay for his mouth. So then this can be his lip. Just remember, you need to score and add water to everything. And you're going to do another arm and another foot, or 3 if you like, if you want to put one on the back, or if you want to make this big enough to have 2 toothbrushes in it, you'll have to give him a bigger foot as well. And I'm going to keep playing around with mine, and I will show you a picture of him once he's finished. When you are done, you don't want to let this sit in, you don't want to let it dry on the bottle. So when you are finished, loosen the tape here. And then you should be able to pull this right out. And if it's really soft, you can leave that paper in there for a little while to help it hold its shape. And as it dries, you can just take the paper out later. I'm going to leave mine in right now because I'm going to keep working on him. But don't let it dry on this because it will get too tight and it will crack as it dries. So pull this out, and I will show you a picture once I finish my toothbrush holder. Take care.